Today on the Barry Valino Podcast, day 34 of the government shutdown, and why do they keep trying to distract you with news and drama about the East Wing construction? Am I the A? And the significance of family story time. That today on the Barry Valino Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Barry Valino Podcast, where we dig past the headlines and call out the distraction playbooks in DC. If you're confused about this government shutdown, let's set the record straight right here and right now. First of all, forget the noise about the White House East Wing construction. Quite frankly, the headlines are a smokescreen. See, you have to ask yourself, is this really the first time a president has ever ordered a major reconstruction of the White House? Of course not. That's just ridiculous. And is this really the largest renovation effort ever attempted by a president? Not even close. Because back in 1948, President Harry Truman gutted and rebuilt the entire White House from the ground up, moving his entire family out for years and spending what would now be well over $60 million. Truman's epic overhaul dwarfs anything and everything that's currently being constructed at the White House. And, oh, by the way, does anyone ever talk about who's paying for this reconstruction? Yes, they do, but it's a bunch of, misinformation. The cost of this renovation is being paid by private donors, which includes President Trump. You've heard that, right? He's paying for this out of his own pocket. It's not costing taxpayers a dime. And yet, Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, Barack Obama, and their media minions want to make paint swatches in a new ballroom sound like the national emergency. It's a distraction, you see. See, here's the real story. The shutdown didn't need to happen. The federal government has now been shut down for 34 days, and Congress could have passed a basic clean bill to keep the lights on and protect every federal worker, every small business, every American family relying on services. But instead, Democrats blocked it 14 times, demanding $1.5 trillion in new spending and refusing to budge without their full wish list. And what exactly is in that wish list? Well, let's start with rolling back reforms protecting Medicaid and Medicare for citizens and legal residents. And how about restoring billions in healthcare subsidies for non-citizens, including those on temporary status? And let's not forget eliminating work requirements for able-bodied Medicaid applicants, allowing millions to collect benefits without looking for a job. That's just fantastic, isn't it? And finally, let's throw away even more taxpayer money by repaving the road to trillions in wasteful spending that DOJ works so hard to cut out. Foreign aid, inefficiencies, pet projects, public broadcasting, and more. Its impact on taxpayers? Over $3.8 billion a year goes to emergency Medicaid for undocumented immigrants, while American families face denial letters and shrinking benefits. If Democrats get their every demand, $1.5 trillion in new spending will fall on the backs of taxpayers, above and beyond the services and benefits Americans are already fighting for. While families and seniors face care shortages and watch state budget buckle, federal mandates redirect billions to those who haven't gone through the legal process, all while the media fixate on construction drama rather than the priorities and realities affecting all of us. So, to my liberal friends, this isn't a partisan spin. It's about priorities and outcomes for real Americans. If you're cheering for the shutdown playbook, step back and ask who benefits, who pays, and what's being traded away. Are headlines about renovations worth 1.5 trillion in new spending and stalled relief for millions of Americans and legal residents? I don't think so. Okay, well, listen. So this is the part of the show where we go through some "Am I the A?" I'm not going to say what that A stands for. I think you all know what it is. It's pretty popular on Reddit. Um, Basically, the A hole, right? I'm not going to say the whole what the real word is because I don't know who's watching. Anyway, um, it's something that was introduced to me by my wife. She likes to read posts, and when she finds something interesting and funny, she likes to read it to me to get my reaction and my thoughts on the post. And I figured, why not do that on the show? It just adds a little bit of levity to the show, especially after a serious piece like earlier in the earlier segment. And I'm a pretty chill guy. For those of you who are just getting to know me, and by the way, if speaking of getting to know me, if you like what you see so far, please consider liking and sharing this episode, and and also if you're looking for new shows to watch online, please consider subscribing to mine. And if you do subscribe, please turn on the notification button so that you can be notified when I put out a new episode. Okay, thanks for that. So, am I the A? Let's read some of this and see if this is going to be a regular part of my show. I hope it. I hope it does because I think it's pretty fun. So, am I the A if I revoke an offer for free plane tickets I had given to a friend? Essentially, my aunt will be traveling to a foreign country overseas to handle some personal business, but it would be her first time traveling to said country. She is older, so I initially volunteered to go with her. However, I received a new job offer and can't take the time anymore to go. She'd be there for about 3 weeks. My goal was to be there to help her with navigation, transportation, yada yada yada. Okay, being a basically being a pair of eyes to watch out for her. Okay, that's very nice of this guy. When I found out I couldn't go. I recruited a friend who travels often and has been to this country before, so she seemed like a natural choice. Okay, makes sense to me. Now, after making the offer, I found out though through other friends that she has started planning on going to nearby countries, essentially being gone for around 3 to 5 days each week. That sort of defeats the purpose, I think. Okay, leaving my aunt to figure things out for herself during that time. Yeah. Now, I didn't expect her to wait on my aunt hand and foot, and definitely did encourage her to seek her own entertainment while my aunt handles her business. But this seems like way too much, and I'm starting to think I should pick someone else for the job. When I brought this up to another friend who I thought would be a good candidate, she claimed it was scummy and unfair for me to take away the offer after she's been hyped up to it and has all these plans now. Okay. And basically, they're wondering if they're the a-hole. And I mean, yeah, definitely you are. I mean, first of all, you're. It sounds like you haven't really talked to your friend before approaching another person about all of this, right? Um, and that's the first thing you should do. I mean, you're automatically the a-hole for not approaching your friend first and approaching somebody else about it, and not giving your friend a chance to maybe adjust the plans, right? I think that's what leads to a lot of conflicts in friendships, is because I think, especially nowadays, I notice friends are sort of conflict avoidant. They're afraid to tell their friends the truth about things that they disagree with or are disappointed with, and it just kind of festers and becomes a point of contention. Now, I think at this point in time, you still have the opportunity to turn things around and have a talk with your friends and your friend and set expectations about what you expect them to do for you because you can't be there. You want them to be able to. You want them to be available to your aunt so that your aunt, won't get lost and she won't feel out of place if she needs help. And for her to plan to go to several countries 3 to 5 days each week, it kind of indicates to me that you didn't set that expectation with her, and I think you should. So, to answer your question, yes, I think you are DA because you're not communicating effectively, and number two, you're avoiding conflict with your friend by not talking to her first before you start bringing it up to people. I don't even know. It's a little unclear to me whether you've talked to your friend first before posting this this post, which definitely makes you the a-hole to me. So that's my take on that. Let's do another one. I think we'll try to keep it to two, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see if we have more time for a third one. But I think at minimum we'll do two per show. Okay, let's go here. See here. Let's see. Okay, this is interesting. Let's look at this one. Let's see. Okay. Am I the A for telling my parents about my cousin doing weed? Okay. So for context, me and my cousin are both 14, and she is going through a tough phase right now, and is struggling a bit with her mental health and eating properly and stuff. But I'll start explaining. Okay, good. Me and my cousin like to talk to each other about stuff we wouldn't tell anyone, and the stuff my cousin has been within the last few months getting extremely drunk, vaping, stealing a ridiculous amount from shops, and did some weed with her friends she found on the side of the road. And I'm very well behaved, and I'm like a very well behaved person. I focus a lot on my studies. I never get into trouble. I rarely do anything irresponsible, so I don't hang out with many people who do stuff like this. So I don't know if it's normal. Okay. Let's try to get this punchline really quick here. Just really concerned about her. I like this stuff could seriously harm her later in life, and with all the vodka she's illegally buying, she could even do something stupid and get killed, get a criminal record from all of the stuff that she's stealing. So she's genuinely concerned for her cousin, and it looks like she went against her cousin's trust. This person feels like she betrayed her cousin's trust and told her parents. Because she was worried about her cousin, so is she the A for betraying her trust? This is an interesting one because, I mean, trust is important. I mean, that's the hallmark for every relationships. You got to have trust and trust people to keep your secrets and all that kind of stuff. But it also depends on what kind of secret that is. If the secret is something that's going to, lead to you harming yourself or doing harm to yourself, I think that's not something that should remain a secret, especially if the person that you're asking to keep a secret cares deeply about you. And obviously in this case, this person cares very deeply for their cousin, and along with empathizing with her cousin, she's watching her kind of just go down hard with the liquor and the stealing and the smoking weed and stuff like that. So I don't think this person is the asshole. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, um, for both stories, the one where the person was going to take her the plane ticket back from their friend who was planning a bunch of trips instead of hanging with his aunt, and this story right here. In the comments, feel free to give me your thoughts on whether you think they're an asshole or not, and why. Oops, I said the word. I said asshole, and I said it again. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, give me your thoughts. See what you think. I'd really appreciate you sharing your comments, and I'll read through them and see if they match up with what I thought. Okay, so I think for now that'll do it for this part of the show, and I'll move on to the closing segment, which is my daily hot take, and we'll see you in that segment soon. So, I want to talk about something that for centuries played a crucial role in raising mentally and emotionally resilient children. It's something simple, almost too simple actually, and yet, like so many simple things, our modern society has managed to lose it. The same society that struggles to keep up with basic habits like regular exercise or taking 5 quiet minutes to pray and thank God for His grace. What I'm talking about is what I call family story time. And no, family story time isn't about grabbing a copy of Goodnight Moon and reading it to your kids before bed. That's called a bedtime story. Family story time is something else entirely. It's definitely bigger than a bedtime story. It's an adventure more thrilling than anything Marvel or DC could put on screen. It's more heartbreaking, more tear-jerking, and more inspiring than anything Hollywood has managed to produce in the last decade. Though, admittedly, that's not saying much. And it's often funnier than Saturday Night Live, which, granted, is an awfully low bar to clear. Because family story time is the story of your family. It's the story of how your grandparents met, the story of how your father made it through college without money for books or tuition, the story of how your mother left her husband, her newborn, and her 4-year-old son behind to fly halfway around the world chasing a dream of a better life in America, hoping to someday bring them all over to join her. These are the stories that built families, the stories that shaped character, the stories that connected generations long before Wi-Fi and streaming services replaced conversation. They're real stories, not scripted, not filtered, not for views or likes. Now, somewhere along the way, we stopped telling those stories. We traded real conversations for distractions. Dinner tables became empty and quiet. Living rooms turned into charging stations. Families stopped sitting together, and when they did, everyone was looking at a screen. Now, kids, they grow up knowing the origin story of every Marvel character, but they couldn't tell you how their own parents met. They can name every influencer, every YouTuber, every pop star, but they don't know the stories of the people who raised them. And that's a tragedy. Because when children don't hear their family stories, they lose something much deeper than information. They lose identity. They lose the sense that they come from somewhere, that they're part of a larger story that started long before they were born and will continue long after they're gone. You know, it's interesting. Psychologists at Emory University actually studied this. They found that kids who know more about their family stories, things like where their grandparents grew up, what struggles their parents faced, are more confident, less anxious, and handle stress better. It's as if those stories become a kind of emotional armor. You can't build character on viral clips and movie franchises. You build it through stories of sacrifice, courage, and faith. Stories told at the dinner table. Stories that start with, "When I was your age," or "Let me tell you about the time." You see, my father understood that. He didn't sit us down to lecture or scold. He didn't try to fix our problems for us. He taught us how to think through them. He used stories to give us tools, the mindset, the grit, the conviction to face life ourselves. And that's the difference. Modern parenting tries to protect kids from struggle. Old school parenting tried to prepare them for it. One builds fragility and the other builds strength. One teaches dependency and the other teaches courage. And it all starts with stories. So maybe it's time we bring that back. Not just reading to our kids, but talking to them, telling them where we came from, what we learned, how we failed, and how we got back up. Because long after the last superhero fades from memory, it'll be your story, your voice, your lessons that echoes in their minds when life gets hard. That's family story time, and it's time we make it a tradition again. And with that, that's the end of our show. Thank you very much for viewing it, and I'll see you next time. Until then, God bless, and stay out of the left lane if you can't keep up.